The silent art of power. Understanding the true strength behind control and silence. In today's world, we are surrounded by constant noise. People talking, arguing, defending their opinions. The digital age has amplified this chaos, with everyone trying to be heard, constantly pushing their thoughts into the world. And yet, amidst this noise, there are a rare few individuals who manage to rise above it all. These individuals don't shout, they don't dominate every conversation. Instead, they speak less, but their words carry weight. They understand something that most people overlook. True power doesn't come from talking louder. It comes from the ability to remain silent. Imagine a situation where you're caught in a heated conversation. Your heart races, your mind floods with responses, and you feel the compelling urge to defend yourself. But in that moment, you pause, you take a breath, you stop. And in that silence, you realize something profound. This is where power lies, not in your response, but in your decision to remain composed. This philosophy, however, isn't new. It's been understood and practiced by some of the wisest minds in history. Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher who consistently challenged the status quo, saw silence as one of the most powerful tools for shaping reality. But why is silence so powerful? Why does it hold such weight in a world that thrives on constant chatter? To answer these questions, we must delve deeper into the mind of Nietzsche and explore how silence isn't just the absence of sound, but rather a deliberate strategy for control, power, and influence. The power of control. In social interactions, power isn't always about what you say. It's about how you control the flow of conversation. Research in social psychology has consistently shown that the most influential people aren't those who dominate every conversation. Instead, they are the ones who control when to speak and when to remain quiet. They don't feel the need to fill every silence with words. They understand that their words, when chosen carefully, are far more impactful than anything they could say in haste. Consider the most powerful leaders you know. They rarely raise their voice. They don't need to. Their authority isn't based on the volume of their speech, but rather the stillness they project. This calm presence, this aura of control, makes others listen when they speak. And that, my friends, is the essence of power. Having the ability to control the moment through silence. The art of self-mastery. To wield silence effectively, you must first master yourself. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, the Superman, wasn't about brute strength. It was about emotional control. The Übermensch doesn't react. He decides. He doesn't get caught in every petty argument, every emotional outburst. His power lies in his ability to stay composed no matter the situation. Research shows that calmness during conflict is often perceived as confidence. When you remain calm, even in the midst of confrontation, you project control. And control, as we know, is the bedrock of influence. It's not about never reacting. It's about choosing your reactions carefully. When someone insults you, how do you respond? Do you immediately defend yourself, reacting from your ego? Or do you pause, observe, and respond only when it serves your greater purpose? Nietzsche believed that true power lies not in the reaction itself, but in your ability to control your response. When you remain silent, you allow the other person to confront their own weaknesses. In that moment, you hold the upper hand. The silent weapon. Silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon. But like any weapon, it must be wielded wisely. If you remain silent without purpose, you risk being perceived as passive, uninterested, or even weak. But when you use silence with intention, it can cause others to question their assumptions, forcing them to reevaluate their positions and beliefs. History is filled with great minds who understood the power of silence. Galileo, Socrates, and Nietzsche himself were not silent because they had nothing to say. They were silent because they knew that silence, when strategically used, could force the world to pay attention. Silence versus avoidance. However, silence does not equate to avoidance. Nietzsche's philosophy was not about withdrawing from the world, but about engaging with it on your own terms. True strength is not found in avoiding conflict. It is found in knowing when to engage and when to hold back. Avoiding conflict entirely is not wisdom. It's simply fear masquerading as restraint. There is a crucial difference between avoiding conflict and mastering it. True mastery comes not from running away from challenges, but from embracing them. Nietzsche viewed struggle not as something to be avoided, but as something that builds strength and resilience. It's through conflict that we are refined, our ideas are tested, and our power is solidified. The role of conflict in growth. Conflict in itself isn't inherently negative. It's a crucible in which ideas are tested and refined. A warrior who avoids battle will never hone his skills. Similarly, a thinker who avoids intellectual challenge will never refine his ideas. Conflict, struggle, and discomfort are essential for growth. Without these challenges, we remain stagnant. Nietzsche's will to power wasn't about avoiding challenges. It was about embracing them. It was about using conflict not to defeat others, but to overcome oneself, to rise above the weaknesses and limitations that hold us back. When to fight and when to stay silent. The question remains, when should you speak and when should you stay silent? The answer lies in your intent. If an argument serves to sharpen your thinking, if it uncovers deeper truths, if it pushes you or others to grow, then it is worth engaging in. However, if it's simply a battle of egos, an attempt to prove you are right, then silence is your ally. The most powerful individuals don't argue to prove a point. They argue to shape reality. They don't engage in conflict for validation. They engage to transform the world around them. The goal isn't to win every battle, but to choose the battles that matter and leave the rest behind. The true art of influence. In the end, the greatest form of power lies in influence. Influence isn't built on noise. It's built on precision, the ability to use words and silence in such a way that others feel compelled to listen, to reconsider, to transform. The most powerful thinkers, leaders, and creators throughout history didn't rely on shouting the loudest. They mastered the art of influence through carefully chosen words, and the silence that made those words even more powerful. Your challenge, the silent power move. Here's your challenge. The next time you find yourself in an argument, pause. Take a moment to breathe, to assess the situation. Are you reacting out of ego, or are you choosing your response with intention? Are you about to engage in a battle that will sharpen your mind, or are you simply feeding the noise? Silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of control. It's the art of stepping back, observing, and allowing others to reveal their weaknesses. Then when the time is right, you choose your words like a master, or you don't speak at all. True power isn't found in arguing to win. It's found in arguing to shape the world.